Now, one of the most common questions that we get is, if I'm buying a property now and I'm going to be using it as an investment property, isn't that going to hurt me in the future when I'm getting my principal residence, my place that I'm going to be living throughout the future or throughout a longer period of time? I'm Bawanka with the Compass team.
Charles Tabo with the Money Mint.
And we're here to answer that question and to help you solve it. Charles is our dedicated in-house mortgage broker. We've been working together for, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years now. Man is very good at what he does, works with a lot of different, how many different lenders?
Over 100.
Over 100 different lenders. And we've done other videos in the past. Just go back and look. Most recently, we did a video on how you can buy a property for just $25,000, a $500,000 property. But today we're going to be talking about what happens when you buy your first property and use it as an investment, and if that's going to hurt you when you're buying your family home years down the line. But yeah, let's kind of jump into it. Charles, what would you say if someone said, you know what? I like this Airbnb. Blanca's always talking about these Airbnbs. I really like it. I'm thinking about buying one, but what about in like 3 years from now when I want to buy the house that I'm gonna live in? What should I do? Is it gonna work out? Am I gonna still be able to buy at for 5% down? Am I gonna have to put down 200, 300,000? I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so a lot of questions there, but so let's just tackle point by point, right?
Okay.
So the biggest myth, and you mentioned at the end, I'm not sure you saw that, will I still be able to put 5% down? Mm-hmm. This is something I get all the time, right? I don't want to lose my 5% down. Putting 5% down has nothing to do with being a first-time home buyer. Anybody in Canada could put 5% down, even if you own 5 properties. It's about if you income qualify, right? Putting 5% isn't solely for first-time home buyers. So that's the first thing I always like to say. So now that we...
So hold on. Someone could have a property already and then they could go buy another property with just 5% down?
Yes, sir.
Okay, explain. How?
Right? Well, because by policy, it only says if you put 5% down, it needs to be your primary home. So if you already own a rental property and you have $25,000, $30,000 laying around, you're like, hey, I want to buy this as my primary home, you can do that as long as you income qualify. That's it.
Okay.
But nowhere does it say you can't buy a second or third property with less than 20% down.
Okay, so you would just be buying it as a principal residence. So if you're buying an investment property, that's when you're gonna have to be putting down 20% or
you got it
more.
because now you're telling the bank that you're looking to make income off this.
Oh, and this is usually going to be happening. Somebody owns their principal residence and now they're saying, I want to get an investment property now. It's
correct.
Going to be 20% down.
Or alternatively, they have a property, right? They already own a property and they see a equity appreciation, all right? And I want to refinance this property, take money out and put it on this new property for only 5% down, and they use that as the principal residence. Okay. And that's how you...
Okay. Let's dive into this. Let's stay here for a while. Mm-hmm. A lot of times at our events, we're not talking about this, but people always are very fascinated by it. Even me, when I first found out about it, I was very fascinated by it as well. But let's talk about, okay? So we'll give you an example, and we're going to talk about how building equity, appreciation, things like that. Let's say someone buys for $500,000, and let's say 5 years later it's worth $750,000.
Yeah.
And now 5 years later, their home is worth $750,000, and they say, I want to buy $1 million property to live in. Talk us through how that's gonna look.
Okay, beautiful. So, what happened? So you bought a property for $500,000. It's now appraised at what? What is the current valuation?
$750,000.
I don't have a calculator on me, but if we do $750,000, the bank is going to give you a loan for 80% of whatever the value.
I got a calculator. I'm ready to go.
Whatever the value of the home is. This is how you know it's live and nothing
okay,
nothing
so
was predated.
$750,000
times 80%.
times 0.8. 600,000.
600. So now the new bank or the same bank, doesn't matter, is going to give you a loan for 600,000.
But hold on.
Wait, I'm going to get to that right now. So 600,000. Let's say the remaining balance on your current home, the mortgage, because you've paid it down. Let's say you only owe 400,000.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So now the new bank comes and pays off the old bank, right? But there's a difference. There's a delta, 600 minus 4 of 200,000. That $200,000 now comes back to you in cash in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right? So now you have $200,000. Perfect. You have the money. There's a new property that you see. Purchase for how? What's the purchase price?
Purchase price $1 million.
$1 million. Okay. The minimum down payment you can put on $1 million property. Remember, it's 5% for the first 500, and then 10% for every dollar over. Right? So 5% for the first 500,000 is $25K. The difference between 500,000 and $1 million now, all right, is 500,000 times 10%. That's 50 grand. So 50 plus 25 is 75,000. So the minimum down payment you can put down on $1 million property is 75,000.
75,000, and you're pulling out 200,000. So you don't even have to put any of your own cash into it.
No, that's all paid for by the bank.
And this is what's happening when you see a lot of people who are getting multiple properties. This is how they're doing it. Everybody thinks they're just, you just get all this cash and some people are doing that, but the majority of people who are doing that, a lot of real estate investors who are doing that, this is the formula that they use, where your home appreciates, your home becomes worth more, and it has equity. The property we're talking about has 200,000 in equity, and now you're able to take that money to help you buy the next place. And your old home, don't sell it. I'm a real estate agent. I tell you, don't sell your old home. Rent it out, keep it, let that asset grow to become even more, to build you even more equity, and take that money and go buy another property. And then in another 5 years, come talk to me again and we'll help you buy another property. And don't sell the last one, keep it. Then you're going to have 3 properties and you're going to have renters who can pay for all of these properties. This is a whole nother video in itself, but this is how you grow wealth in real estate.
Yeah. And just to add on that, it's going to answer the first question that you asked, right? Well, what about being a first-time home buyer, my RSPs, FHSA accounts? And this, what I always say is, what's more important is getting in the market, right? Because you are not going to save and you're not going to invest enough as much as equity appreciation. It's very common, and it's not surprising that you can pull out 200,000 in 5 years. You can pay back your RSPs, that 35,000. Right? You can pay back your FHSA and still have enough for the minimum down payment for that next property. So what's actually more important is figure out how to get it in the market. And then from there, the rest will take care of itself. Because again, the equity appreciation in the GTA, the numbers better than me, it's probably north of 6-7% annually.
6.7%.
Right?
Year over year.
Year over year. You're definitely not investing as much to guarantee that type of return, and you're not getting a 6.5% year over year increase in your salary. So
invest in real estate.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, honestly, you can go back and you can look at a lot of videos that I've put out. When it's a good time to sell, I tell people, hey, listen, it's a good time to sell. When it's a good time to buy, I say it's a good time to buy. Right now, we have over 5 months of inventory. In condo market, we have over 7 months of inventory. In the last 30 years, the GTA has not had this much inventory available. So not only can you pick the exact home that you want, you're still able to negotiate and get a great price on it. We've done videos talking about a lot of the great deals that we're able to get. So even if you want, scroll through some of the other playlists and find that video that talks about how we're getting amazing deals in the market right now. But it's definitely a buyer's market, and I don't know how long that's gonna last. But let's get back to kind of talking about what we were talking about. I know you talked about the RSPs and the first-time home buyer accounts.
Yep.
What's some other reasons why people might worry about, should I get a home and use it as an investment property, or should I just wait and save and then get my 1.5 or 1.2, however much their home is that I'm going to live in forever.
So the question is, like, what's the difference? Like, what should you do first?
Yeah, what should you do first, and what can you do first?
Yeah, I would naturally say whatever gets you into the door of real estate quicker, right? Because most individuals who are buying $1.5 million properties, you can bet that it's not their first home, right? And they have bought and sold many of homes to get up there where they're putting a substantial down payment so they can qualify for that type of property, right? And unfortunately, saving and investing your way to a $1.5 million property will probably put you out of even being able to buy it. Because at the time, once you're ready and you have your 20%, because don't forget, actually, no, well, up into 1.5, you can put still the minimum down with the new CMHC rules that just came out in December of 2024. But before that, you had to put down 20% for anything above $1 million. Nonetheless, to save that much, that property is going to be worth way more, right? So do what you need to do to get in. So that means if you're using your RSPs, your FHSA account to get into your first property, and you decide, it's initially your primary home, but you want to rent it out for affordability purposes thereafter, no problem. At least you have an asset that's growing in equity, and also you're taking advantage of principal pay down through the rental income that's coming in.
Okay. I want you to talk to two people. The first person, someone who hasn't bought a property yet, but they're saying, man, I don't want to buy a property that maybe I end up using as an investment. Maybe I live in. Maybe I just want to wait and get that other property that's like my forever home. That's the first person. And then the second person is somebody who already owns a home, and they're deciding, hey, you know what? I know it's a great time to buy right now. Should I buy even and still try to hold on? Because I'm telling you, don't sell it. Hold on to it and use it as an investment. And can I still buy with just 5% down? But let's talk to that first person who hasn't bought a property yet and is saying, you know what? I don't want to know if I want to buy a $500,000 property that I might live in or I might use as an investment. Maybe I just want to wait until I'm more comfortable in life and everything is ready to go, and then I buy my forever home.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I would have to speak to reality to this person, right? Because it depends. What is your forever home? That's the first thing, right? And from there, look at real estate as a investment, right? Because oftentimes buying your first property is what's going to lead you to be able to lead you to that forever home. Because again, we have to reiterate, the chances of you just simply saving and investing, unless you have some high profile C-suite executive job where you're just able to save hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, is likely not going to happen. You need an investment vehicle to give you that extra push to that next bump up. And real estate, I firmly believe real estate is that best asset. It's a forced savings account, right? Again, 6.5% to 7% guaranteed year-over-year return.
And right now, the line goes like this: 6.7%. Right now, we're down here. It's a good time to buy.
Right.
Okay, now let's talk to the other person who they already own a home. Let's say that it's just a smaller condo. They bought it a while ago, got into the market. If they sell it now, it's not really gonna make them that much money, but they have some money. They have some money stacked away, and they know how good of a buying opportunity is right now.
Yeah.
But they say, how can we keep our current place as a rental and still get another place? Talk to that person.
Yeah. So the best thing they can, especially if they see another property that they want to buy, right? There is no reason why they can't take equity out, keep that place as a rental, or even if they're living in it, they can turn it into a rental property and go ahead and put the minimum down on that next property, right? And that's what working with a mortgage advisor is going to help you do, because they're going to structure out how exactly and create a roadmap for you, how exactly you're going to go about doing that. As long as there's equity in the home and naturally there's income coming into the household, you're able to refinance and pull equity out to put down as your down payment for that next property, right? And then you simply just continue the pattern from there.
Okay. Okay. No, this has been really good. This is why we bring on mortgage professionals to be able to really hit the numbers and help you understand. There's a lot that I know. There's a lot that Safraz knows, but this is why we work with specialists like Charles. Before we wrap this up, what's your last piece of advice or the last thing that you want to leave people with?
Don't count yourself out too early. All right. If you believe you want to buy a property, there is nothing wrong speaking to a mortgage advisor right away and get an idea of where you fall in at, right? Because you'd be surprised how close you are to home ownership.
Okay. And where can people find you?
Yeah, so people can find me. The easiest place is actually on Instagram _CK the broker. That's where I have all of my personal contact details, where you can reach me out and book a call.
Okay, so now I know there's someone, someone who is in this situation, one of those two people that we talked about. Just share it with them, send it to them, give us a thumbs up. If you want to set up an appointment with us, you can always just click the link below, set up a discovery call. But I'm Bawanka with the Compass team.
This is Charles Kaitaba with the Money Mint.
And we're looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one.